What's good? What's good? What's good? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. I am Edgar. I am the host, and today I got my crew. I did a solo show recently, but I'm not going solo today. I'm going back to hanging out with Mr. Blood, Toxic, Tommy, and BT Knight, and we're gonna go over Friday Night SmackDown, a wild Friday Night SmackDown, way better than last week's. Today SmackDown was wild. Today there's a lot to talk about, you guys. The last few shows we've covered the most important parts was just like two, maybe three things here and there, but no. On this Friday Night SmackDown, we found out what the favor was, most importantly, which opened up the show and ended the show. We also got the highly anticipated Ray Phoenix debut that we're going to talk about. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton got into it and it got out of hand. They went off script. It was very, very interesting. Some people liked it. Some people thought it was a total wreck. So I want to hear your thoughts on that as well. And we're also going to talk about B-Fab and Naomi. They had a match, but there's a specific reason why I want to talk about this. We got an update on the injury. There's you know what? I'm just going to spoil it. Kevin Owens, he's out of WrestleMania. We're going to talk about that and what happened with Randy Orton. Jacob Fatu is the number one contender for the United States champion. And we're going to cover all of this here on this episode of Snug Wrestling. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
Doing awesome. Yeet.
Yeah,
Yeet.
Right on.
doing great.
Let's get started with the favor, shall we? The favor. What's the favor? What is this big favor that we've been waiting for since fucking... What was it, Tommy, when this thing even started? Was it the Chamber or was it War Games?
It was not the Chamber, it was War Games and a little bit before that. Because what they were doing is they were leading up to it, and then the whole favor thing was the only way to get Punk to help out Roman during War Games.
So we talked about... Thank you, Tommy. So we talked about this numerous times, and we were trying to wrap our heads around it. And as we were getting closer to the time to figure out what the favor was, it kind of just hit me last minute. It's going to be CM Punk is going to ask Paul Heyman to be in his corner instead of Roman Reigns. And that's basically what the favor is, you guys. How do you guys feel about now that we know what the big favor is? They built this up all this time and we were waiting and we were speculating, we were guessing. Now that we know what the favor is, Blood, do the honors like usual. What are your thoughts on the favor? Was it worth the wait? And how is this going to go into play at WrestleMania, you think?
So I actually figured out the favor about 3 days ago, randomly. I was thinking about the segments. I was playing WWE 2K25, and in my universe mode, Punk versus Roman for the WWE Championship was one of the matches in my universe mode, and the game automatically sets up your manager. And Heyman was the manager for Roman in the match. But during the entrance, it just kind of hit me. I was like, well, hold on. What if the favor was Punk not only trying to steal the loyalty away from Roman? What if he just said, you know what? I want to hit you where it hurts. Because Heyman never got to walk down the aisle to the Mania ring in the main event ever with Punk, and that was something Punk always wanted. Because there were Manias where Heyman was still Punk's manager, even when Punk was the guy. And I was like, holy shit, that's got to be the favor. Because last Friday, when Punk is essentially about to give Roman his props, even if it was sarcastic, Heyman gets down on his knees next to Punk, tells him, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do. He's pleading with Punk. He's my tribal chief, but you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this to yourself. To humble yourself, because Punk is Heyman's best friend. And even though he is Roman's wise man, he's still closer with Punk. And that sticks in Roman's craw. And if Punk, a master of mind games, is really trying to stick it into Roman's craw, twist that knife deeper, because Punk already knows. Punk knows I'm already in Seth's head. I'm rent free in Seth's head, but I'm not rent free in Roman's. So instead of Roman getting to have the honor of the Hall of Famer Paul Heyman walk him down to the ring for his 10th record breaking, by the way, record setting, record breaking main event spot of Mania 10. This is the 10th time Roman's main evented. The number before him is Hulk Hogan at 8 and Triple H at 7. Main
That's
events at
fucking
WrestleMania.
wild.
Yes. And to think about the fact, well, Roman kind of cheated. He got 2 back-to-back main events in 1 year last year. But when it comes down to it, this is not only a perfect full circle moment for CM Punk. What better way to let him truly? Because if you're Triple H, the thing about Triple H is that Triple H and Punk have a better relationship because Triple H was willing to give Punk the one thing Vince refused to. Aside from the respect that Punk had worked his ass off to earn, the respect that Heyman staked his career on for Punk, he wouldn't give him, he wouldn't concede that main event spot at Mania, even when Punk was the champion, the guy during Mania. He was playing second fiddle every year.
Mm-hmm.
And to give him that main event spot, that's one thing. That shows that you truly are trying to make sure that Punk knows he belongs here, he's welcome, he's wanted here. You're also saying, well, let's go a step further.
Mm-hmm.
What if we let you and your best friend go down in the ring at the same time? The guy who helped put you on the map, the guy who brought you into WWE, the guy who staked his career on Vince believing in you.
They told
let
him to
that
fire,
guy walk down in the ring with you.
They told him to fire him, and Paul was like,
and Heyman refused. And Heyman flat out refused. We've heard the story 1,000 times. Heyman legitimately staked his entire career on Punk being a success in the WWE. That is a true story.
Mm-hmm.
He even mentioned his Hall of Fame speech.
Mm-hmm.
What a full circle moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is awesome. It's awesome. If you are a Punk fan, if you are a diehard, unforgiving, will never apologize for it, CM Punk fan, like me and you specifically, Snug, we've been following Punk's career. I've been following his career since ROH. His early days, ROH. Okay? I've seen his old backyard wrestling footage before he made it to WWE when it hit YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So for me, and the fans like me, for the people, the 16,000 in that arena tonight, for guys like you, this is an absolute feel. I don't see how I'm not going to get misty-eyed or tear up when I see him walk out there with Heyman. The feeling that I'm going to feel is going to be like this.
Dude, I'm going to be there live.
You did it. I know. I'm so happy for you because you're going to get to soak up that fucking emotion. You know what I want you to do when you're there live? I want you, for the show, take out your fucking camera when that main event's about to start, when Punk's music's about to hit. Because he's either going to enter last or he's going to enter first out of the 3 of those guys. Because they're either going to want the loudest pop to open up for the energy, or they're going to want him to really get to soak in that fight. So that tells me Roman's might come out first, Seth's going to come out in the middle, Punk might come out last. But when they do, I want you to open up your cell phone. I want you to zoom in. I want you to capture that fucking moment of those 2 walking out. Because that will be viral fucking camera footage.
It's going to be historic. No, you're definitely right, Mr. Blood. This is this makes perfect sense, at least to me, at least to you, because of the meaning, the importance of all of this going back to years and years in the history. But I'm
it's poetic. It's poetic.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to you. I want to hear from Toxic, and then Tommy. Well, what did you think, Toxic, about the favor? And how are you feeling with with how we found out about this?
I was not expecting this to be the favor whatsoever, but it was so. In the first couple of weeks we heard about the favor, I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting that to be the favor.
Mm-hmm.
As we start moving closer to where we are now, I'm like, it's possible, but I just don't see it. And the way that we found out, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Paul's over here crying. Sorry, blood, I'm spoiling. If Rollins fucking laughing his ass off the
Yeah.
entire time,
Yeah.
and Roman's like, tell him no.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
Yeah, we're talking about like the top 3 promos and characters in the WWE. So the fact that they were all there, the way that they were reacting, the way that it was done, even down to before they were in the ring, Paul Heyman had a backstage segment where he talked to the camera and he said, "Punk, Roman Reigns is about to be here. He's mad. He's upset, and I don't care what the favor is, whatever it is. Yes." So Paul Heyman had already agreed to whatever the favor was going to be, even before even knowing what the favor was. So that made it a lot more interesting. And then, of course, we went back. Roman showed up. They went to the ring. And soon enough, out comes Rollins. Out comes Punk. Hey, the favor is this. I'm going to take you out of your comfort zone. You're not going to have your wise man. I'm going to have my best friend. So Paul Heyman is going to be in my corner. And you're right, Toxic. The way that Roman Reigns came about this, all confident. Tell him no, Heyman. Tell him no. Tell him you love me. You'll never do that to me. And Paul was like, I can't do that. Huge pop. Tommy, let's hear your thoughts about the favor in this segment.
So, I did actually figure this out earlier today. Because what came across my Facebook feed was a clip from back in the day with Punk and Heyman alone in the ring. And Heyman going, I will walk down with you when you are challenging for the WWE title. I will walk down with you when you main event WrestleMania. I will walk down with you. Like, he was naming all of these things. And that's when I realized, wait, the favor is not to put him into a triple threat for the WWE title. It's not the triple threat. The favor was to put him back on his side and fully go through with something that he said over 10 years ago. That he would walk down with him when he main evented WrestleMania. And that is exactly what's going to happen. And I'm telling you, here in 2 weeks, when it happens, that pop is going to be so damn loud, it's not even funny. I am so jealous of you right now, Snug. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And again, like, some people are complaining already, all of this just for Paul Heyman. But it's like, if you guys really think about it, Roman Reigns is used to having Paul Heyman in his corner. A lot of managers really do make a huge impact in these matches. And, now that Paul Heyman is going to be in CM Punk's corner, this does change a lot, like in story mode, the dynamic of the match for Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is not going to have his wise man. He's not going to have his support there that he's used to having in the corner. Now CM Punk has the advantage. And it's just, man.
It's like I said. CM Punk is already living rent free in Rollins' head. Mm-hmm. This was the one way he could get rent free into Roman's.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right, Blood. BT, let's hear your thoughts on all this.
All right, I've been very excited to talk about this segment. This was amazing. From Roman pulling up in the driveway and just ignoring Paul Heyman because he wants to get down to business. He's not even playing with the crowd, and Roman's leaning into more of his tweener vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not fully the babyface anymore. He's more of the tweener, which is something that I really like that Roman is tapping into in particular. He's like, wise man. Yes, my tribal chief. Is he here? Yes, my tribal chief. Is he still talking about the favor? Yes, my tribal chief. Oh my god. And this is the problem with Chicago. He just disses Chicago getting a bit of that heel heat, and I just loved every single second of it. And then he was like, Punk, let's see what the favor is. And immediately I'm like, Seth's got to come out. Seth has got to come out. And then all I heard was, burn it down. And I'm like, oh shit. And this motherfucker Seth came out wearing the... How do I describe this? He was wearing the robbery jacket that Michael DeSanta from GTA 5 wears in that one fucking GTA 5 mission when you have to rob the goddamn trucks with all of the big gold and all of the millions of dollars in there in one of the missions.
How do you guys remember all this shit?
Bro, like, I was laughing my ass off, so I know the memes are going to go crazy with that. But anyway, then Seth comes out antagonizing Roman, and then Roman pulling his shots back, and then Punk walks out, and he says, I'm going to hit you in the heart, Roman. I'm going to make your wise man my friend.
Best friend, yeah.
Yeah, my best friend.
Yeah.
And Roman, just like y'all said, his egotistical side, he was all confident. He was like, I saved this man. He wouldn't be relevant without me, just like your bitch ass.
Mm-hmm.
So, wise man, tell him no. And you could see the emotion in Paul's face when he was like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. Wise man, don't make me bitch slap you in the face, man. Don't make me bitch slap you in the face. Tell him no. But I saved him years ago. I saved it. I was there for him. Wise man, I'll give you one more shot, and you better not screw it up. Tell him no. And it was at that particular moment, the acting was just phenomenal. Paul Heyman has always been one of the best actors when it comes to general managers in particular. He has been phenomenal when it comes to promos, his acting, selling it. Like, look at the work that he did with Solo when he looked like he hadn't gotten sleep in ages. Either that or he was wiping his eyes with a fucking poisonous leaf or some shit. But anyway, you could see the tears
actually coming. Sorry to interrupt you because I wanted to confirm you. He did say in an interview later that he actually stayed up for 2 entire days straight to sell the exhaustion for that promo.
That's commitment.
He did say that.
That is fucking commitment right there. But yeah, that just shows you right there the dedication that this man gives to promos and to the business in general. He's just an amazing guy. But you can see the emotions coming out, and he's like, I can't do it, Roman. I can't. And you could see Roman looking at him like, ain't no way you just said that. And he was pushing Heyman to the corner as Heyman was just pleading and begging for Roman to not punch him in the fucking throat. And then Punk with the cheap shot. And then the rest is history. But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed this segment. It was fucking awesome.
It also, like, it made me feel really bad for Paul Heyman because think about it. Think about what situation Paul Heyman is in right now. he has to choose between the guy that he's been protecting, he's been advising, the guy that brought him in, the guy that saved him, Roman Reigns. He's got to pick between Roman, or he's got to pick, his longtime friend who has all this history with, who has made all these promises to, who has put his career on the line for. And it's like, I felt bad for him, especially with the tears. Like, Paul Heyman was crying, like, on spot. It was amazing. But Blood, I know you have something to add before we move on. Is there anything else you want to add about this this segment here?
Yes. As perfect as this is, and by the way, this actually is my favorite match going into Mania. I am looking forward to this match more than any other match that weekend. For me, this is the match that has the best story going into it, the best emotion going into it. I'm the most hyped for this match. We've had some very unfortunate lackluster builds around a lot of the other major stories. I mean, look, like Jay and Gunther just got good, and we're 2 weeks out. The women's title scene on both sides is to nah. We have so many multi-man matches. Like, I mean, this is if you look across the board at the whole Mania weekend card, this is the one match you can say without a doubt has the best story going into it, the best performances, the best history, the best lore, the best segments. Like,
yeah,
it's not even a competition.
I think it's blowing Cody and Cena out the water.
It is, yeah. And that's only because, and it's not Cody's fault. That's because they should have swapped that third promo with the first one, and they should have made sure that John Cena could make more appearances. Because we just found out in the wrestling news earlier this week, well, this past Monday, that when they feuded, I think it was Monday or last Friday. It was one of the two where they were face to face. I think it was Monday. But that's John Cena's last scheduled appearance until Mania.
No,
so yeah,
really.
I swear to God, that's John Cena's last scheduled date for Mania that has publicly been advertised for his dates for the next few weeks. Swear to God. So now Cody has to build this feud more by himself, unless The Rock is supposed to show up at some point. But The Rock apparently isn't scheduled to make any appearances prior to Mania either. So it's like, dude, you're handicapping the story. But the one thing I want to mention that I am dead set on, Seth Rollins was the fourth wheel last year in the entire story. Mm-hmm. Seth Rollins generally, when they get in these multi-man scenarios, he's always the odd man out. And you don't want to know why? Because Roman actually has a character. Because Roman actually has a character. Because Punk actually has a character. Seth has an entrance song and a dance. If you strip away the entrance music, if you strip away the goofy ass outfits, Seth has no character. So what needs to happen is by the end of Mania Night 1, or by the end of Mania Night 2, or by the end of the Raw after Mania, or the SmackDown after Mania, we need a Seth Rollins heel turn. That needs to come out of this. Because he is the odd man out in this group. He comes off as a whiny bitch about it. And he's the only guy in that match who I feel like you're the least important guy in this feud.
Yeah, that's what he feels like. I just want to say real quick, when Roman was calling out CM Punk, Seth Rollins came out and it was just like, ugh. The fans were singing his song like always, but then him and Roman started bickering at each other about trust and how Seth Rollins isn't loyal and, their history, and it's just like, yeah, hurry up, go on with it. Let's get CM Punk out.
I enjoy Seth in the ring, but this one's gonna sting when y'all hear this one. Seth is the Io Sky of this feud.
Yeah. That doesn't sting. It's true.
He's the best wrestler out of the three of them, just like Io, and he's the least important person in this triple threat.
Well, I mean, by best wrestler, I'd say most acrobatic, but I wouldn't say the best wrestler.
Well, if you want to talk about like wrestling ability, the best overall rounded like technical wrestler ability,
Yeah,
most
okay.
versatile in the ring, it's Seth. Same thing with Io.
Fine, fair
But
enough.
they are both the workhorses of their respective divisions, both of them, in triple threat matches at Mania, and they are both the least important parts of their matches.
Yeah.
And
No, you're
that
right.
sucks. They're both playing third fiddle to two other people in their story.
That's why when we do the prediction episode for Mania, it's like it's Seth
It ain't gonna be
Rollins.
pretty.
Hey, but you know what? What if they pull the impossible, like, they swerve us and fucking Seth Rollins ends up winning? That could also lead to a singles match between Roman and
Well,
Punk.
busted open radio made a really good possible outcome.
All right,
They
really
said,
quick, so before we can move on.
I don't, and they said, what if the heel turn happens in the match? What if it's Seth turning heel? But what if Paul Heyman sides with Seth?
Nah, that's stupid.
What he could swerve him. He could swerve him
That's
because
true.
Roman doesn't need Heyman anymore. Punk doesn't need Heyman anymore. But who's directionless and needs a revamp? Seth.
Damn.
What's Paul Heyman famous for?
Fucking
Revamping and
turning
giving
everything
directions.
into fucking gold.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you stick him with Seth then? Unless Seth turns
man.
out to swerve us all inside with the Rock. That was another prediction they had
Yeah.
because John
It
Cena
also will bring
eventually.
up the fact that he is the only non-Heyman guy too in that triple threat. Seth is
Yeah.
the only non-Heyman guy between the three.
I don't like
Yeah,
that
but
idea.
but if you think about it, Roman and Punk did something that Seth didn't do to Heyman. They put Paul in the middle and forced him to choose.
Yeah.
So what if his choice is the one guy who didn't force him to choose?
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I don't like it because I'm like saying, "Oh, that idea is stupid." I'm saying that because
It's
it's not
weird.
stupid. It's not weird.
It's a little.
It's not weird. It's just I'm afraid that I hate Seth Rollins so much that I'm afraid that he's gonna make me hate Paul Heyman, and that's what I'm afraid of.
The thing is, you could never make me hate Paul Heyman. Never.
I don't
But
know.
he's my
It's
favorite
Seth
manager of
Rollins.
all time. But I think Seth definitely needs a reset. And I think if you were ever going to give him just the highest ability to reset for success, Paul Heyman being his new manager would do wonders for
Well, I hope they don't hear this podcast because fuck that. All right,
him.
let's move on to the Ray Phoenix debut. Toxic, I'm going to go with you first this time, so be ready. Ray Phoenix finally showed up on Friday Night Smackdown, and I thought that it was going to be versus Andrade. So did half of the world in the internet. I thought it was going to be Ray Phoenix versus Andrade, but it was Ray Phoenix versus Nathan Frazier. Ray Phoenix, obviously, he gave us all a tease of what he's all about. He's high flying, he's exciting. Just like his brother Penta, and the fans were impressed. The fans were happy, even though there was a little botches here and there. I don't like using that word, but let's call it like it is. The match wasn't perfect, but it got the job done. Ray Phoenix went over, and after the match, they already announced who Ray Phoenix's next opponent is going to be. Humberto Carrillo from Legado del Fantasma, which should be another great, exciting luchador style match. Toxic, what did you think about Ray? First of all, I'm just not going to ask you what did you think about the match. Have you seen Ray Phoenix before, or was this the first time seeing him? If this was the first time for you, what did you think?
First time on TV, yes. I did a little bit of, I guess you could call it researching. I watched a couple of his matches, and they were fire.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree with you. I thought he was going to go against Andrade because I saw something today that apparently Andrade and Ray Phoenix were going to have a feud, but I don't know if that's 100% true. So correct me if I'm wrong. And I like Ray Phoenix because he's a mix of three wrestlers that I really like. Javon Evans, Penta, and Dragon Lee. They're like, I don't know what it is about Ray Phoenix, but anytime he steps in the ring, you just don't know what shit he's gonna pull out of his pocket. It's just unpredictable, like Penta. So I completely enjoyed this. And fun fact, this was actually a double debut. Nathan Frazier's Smackdown debut, and then Ray Phoenix. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Thanks for pointing that out, Toxic. Tommy, let's hear from you.
One, yes, this was in fact the first time that I've seen Ray Phoenix wrestle, and holy shit. So they put him up against a very quick competitor as well in Nathan Frazier, which made a whole lot of sense,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're trying to put Ray Phoenix over, which honestly you don't really need to do. He's the same thing as Penta, where the looks really sell it all. But with Nathan Frazier, what better way to show off how good your NXT roster is
Yeah.
than to put him up against someone who is extremely quick and is debuting himself.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It
absolutely.
just, it works. Especially with him already being a tag team champion as well.
Yeah, Nathan Frazier looked really good in this match. I think he maybe looked a little bit too good for a debut match of a big star that you've been hyping up for a long time, like Ray Phoenix. There was a couple times where I was like, okay, this match is over. Ray Phoenix won, and nope, Nathan Frazier kicked out a couple times, and I was just like, holy shit, is Ray Phoenix gonna lose his debut match?
Scared me. The one part that scared me was that suicide dive from Nathan Frazier, because he seemed a little bit too far back before Nathan Frazier jumped, and that landing scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, it could have ended badly for both of them, especially Ray Phoenix too. It looked like he kind of landed on his leg there a little bit, might have bent his leg, but it looked like everyone was okay. Both of them were. They were able to finish the match, so. That was good. Ray Phoenix cut a promo after saying that he's always wanted to say that he's a part of the WWE, so he got to say that in Chicago, which was a great moment. BT, tell us how you really feel about this Ray Phoenix debut, man.
Well, this is I'm in Tommy's boat as well. This is my first time watching him in the ring as well. Amazing stuff from Ray Phoenix, even during his entrance as well. He certainly had that Penta feel as well. You know how Mr. Blood ages ago was talking about how his entrance made him feel like a superstar. Like it gave us that superstar feel. That was exactly what I got with Ray Phoenix, and much, much more. Like even when he was jumping from the ropes and then did the flip off of it, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy that he just casually does that on a daily basis? Like, this is Ricochet when he was in NXT, when he was just running across the ring and just dived over the top rope, landing on his 2 feet casually in front of a black man. Like, that was just hilarious, bro.
That was fucking Velveteen Dream.
Yeah. But, that suicide dive from Nathan really scared me as well, because his feet were actually caught by the ropes if you catch it at the last second, you'll see that his feet hit the ropes, and then of course Ray was standing pretty far back, but at least he caught him within the last second. So that could have gone horribly wrong, but I'm very glad that it didn't. But they were still able to capitalize off of that botch, and they were able to push Ray Phoenix as well. So that was one of my favorite parts about this match. And then the finish was awesome. The promo that he cut, you could tell how emotional he was. And that's something that I love. I love it when wrestlers show the emotion. They're not afraid to hide it. I love it when they do that, and it means a lot to him. So I'm very happy for him. Very happy.
BT, were you able to watch this match at all, or any clips of it? If so, do you have any thoughts that you want to add? I mean, Blood. Did I say BT? My bad. Blood.
Yeah, motherfucker! I just went.
Yeah, my bad.
Sorry, I was opening a gift someone got me, new Naruto figure. But what do you call it? I did see the clips, did see the match. I actually agree with I think it was Tommy, or it might have been you, Snug, who said that you think Nathan Frazier was it? I think you said that he looked a little too good for a first match Penta.
Ray Phoenix.
The reason you said that, or Ray Phoenix, the reason that when you said that caught my attention was because this is going to sound real weird. I was more impressed by Nathan Frazier in this match than I was with Ray Phoenix. I don't know if that makes sense. And here's the thing: I've seen Ray Phoenix wrestle. I've never seen Nathan Frazier wrestle, and he has that style, that mat style that I really, really like. He was quick, snappy, great, excellent timing. I think the reason I wasn't as impressed with Phoenix is because when I looked at him, I just saw a smaller, skinnier, I'm assuming younger version of Penta.
I don't know who's older, but he's definitely shorter and skinnier than Penta. Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I honestly thought that. How do I say this? I think Penta. I really think Ray Phoenix is better than Penta from what I've seen. Because I've seen some of Ray Phoenix's stuff in AEW, and seeing him again here fresh tonight on the roster for SmackDown, I think Ray is probably a bit better than Penta as far as like speed, agility, versatility in the ring. That top rope into that freaking Pele kick was insane.
Yeah.
I loved seeing the Muscle Buster, the Mexican Muscle Buster. That was dope. I haven't seen a Muscle Buster since Samoa Joe did it. I thought that that finish was awesome, or his finish is awesome. That I don't know what he calls, but that lift up, like almost like a fisherman hook into a drop DDT, was insane. And Nathan kicking out of that, I was like, look, if they're both debuting, you really sure you want to have Nathan kicking out at a near fall like that?
Yeah.
But the crowd loved it. They were into it. It got a massive pop, and it started getting rumbles. And I'm pretty sure I heard "This Is Awesome" chants. But I don't know if it would I would call this a success. I don't know if I would call this a successful debut because a lot of that audience is fresh faced to Ray Phoenix, and a lot of that audience is fresh faced to Nathan Frazier. And if I'm mostly fresh faced to the both, because I've heard of Nathan Frazier and I've seen clips of Ray Phoenix wrestle, but if I leave Ray Phoenix's debut, he's the one that this moment's all about, right? If I leave his debut and I'm thinking more about how much more impressed I was with Nathan Frazier, then I think you let Nathan Frazier get too much in here, because I'm leaving much more impressed with Nathan Frazier. And that's taken nothing away from Ray Phoenix. But the problem with Ray Phoenix is we have so many luchador in WWE. We just had a brand new one debut just a couple months ago in Penta. So from seeing everything Dragon Lee can do, from Andrade to the other fucking Joaquin Wild and all these fucking guys, and obviously Rey Mysterio's right there and Dominic's right there. There's really nothing that he did tonight that I haven't seen before.
Who, Ray Phoenix?
Yeah. So I wasn't really. It was hard to be impressed because I feel like right now WWE, and this is going to sound really weird, kind of is, in my opinion, a bit oversaturated on their lucha libre, Mexican, Puerto Rican styled wrestlers, the high flying Spanish, are styled wrestlers, Latinas, Latinos. I feel like there's so many of them, and they're all in factions and they're all in groups, and we see them all the time. And it's kind of hard for me to be impressed by a guy when I saw Dragon Lee do a bunch of the shit he did tonight when Dragon Lee debuted. I saw Penta do a bunch of shit he did tonight when Penta debuted. I see Rey Mysterio pull shit like that out of his ass when he's half asleep from a red eye, like he's not even paying attention to the ring, and still knocks it out of the park, perfect 10 out of 10. It's hard to be impressed because I've seen so much of it so recently, so often, that I was more impressed by Nathan Frazier because to me he was newer.
Well, here's a fun fact that probably is the reason why you liked it so much. They were saying that Seth Rollins was the one that trained Nathan Frazier.
Then that probably explains it because like I said, I may not be a big fan of Seth Rollins' character. I honestly think he should have stayed in the Monday Night Messiah gimmick so much longer. But I'm a massive fan of Seth Rollins' in-ring style. I love his in-ring style. It's a high flyer mixed with a little Michaels, mixed with a little Triple H thrown in there.
Also, Nathan Frazier is one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, and his partner is Axiom, who's the guy that went 50-50 versus Gunther a few weeks ago. So,
well, if his partner's Axiom, Nathan Frazier's clearly better than Axiom.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because Nathan Frazier got in there tonight. Honestly, what I was really thinking when I was watching him wrestle, he reminded me of prime Dolph Ziggler. Just the snappiness, the movement, the selling ability, the long hair, the long tights and the boots, and just there's something about the explosive movement where everything matters. And I think if anything, this was a better showcase of Nathan Frazier's ability, because especially if you're being trained by Seth, you got to think that backstage before that match, Seth is probably hyping him up like, okay, remember everything you learned. You got this. This is this. Just giving him last minute, mentor, mentee, positive words. But I felt Seth Rollins in his movements tonight. I felt Dolph Ziggler in his movements tonight because Dolph and Seth have very similar styles. So I was just more captivated by Nathan. So I don't know if I would call this a successful debut, because the other guy, in my opinion, took way more attention than you should have given him in the booking of that match.
I mean, one thing's for sure. I think it's safe to say because they're NXT champions, these guys, they're taking a little bit more serious as far as
especially if Triple H is in behind the scenes, because it's NXT, it's his baby. Yeah, he's not going to have his NXT guys come out up and job out.
Yeah, also Shawn Michaels too. Hey, let me borrow this guy for Smackdown. Let's, put him on the main show. All right, but make him look good.
Shawn's gonna be like, all right, well, make him look good.
I'm not gonna give you one of my champions just so you can fucking bury them. I gotta put them on TV next week.
Thank God Triple H isn't Vince, because Vince would have.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on.
Karrion Kross, case in point.
I want to talk about the Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton segment because I didn't think there was going to be much going on here, but there was a lot going on. For better or for worse, I was intrigued by this for all the wrong reasons, because these two women went off script. It took a weird turn very, very quickly. And I wasn't expecting this, but it was kind of like a bad car crash. Like, I couldn't look away, and I was just like thrown off by all the things these two women were saying to each other. Like, it got personal, it got real. And there's some wrestling fans that they like their promos, like John Cena and Cody, smooth and like perfect and like the timing is perfect and you know everything is just on point. That's good and everything. But to me personally, I like my promos like this that feel real, that feel unscripted, that feel like holy shit, she wasn't supposed to say that. Was she did she really just say that, you know? And it wasn't pretty. It wasn't like, you know, they were talking over each other. Charlotte was trying to talk over the crowd. It wasn't one of those, oh, I'm going to let the crowd, you know, do their thing and I'm going to wait for them. No, like they were like moving. So it wasn't the most choreographed fucking segment, but it felt real, it felt raw and felt uncut, and that's what I liked about it. Charlotte Flair, earlier this week, she went on a talk show to talk about her personal life, her divorce. She got emotional. She was teary eyed. She talked about her injury, how she came back, and the way that fans reacted. After dealing with injury, after dealing with divorce, she felt like she was failing in her job and failing in her personal life. She comes back to the WWE. She gets booed on top of everything. Tiffany Stratton didn't hold back. She brought that up. She brought up, oh, you're just going on talk shows and crying like a little, yeah, you know, whatever. She brought up the divorce. You're going to end up alone again. She brought up Ric Flair. You're a Nepo baby. She brought up you're 0-3 in relationships. Like all kinds of shit. Charlotte Flair ended the promo with, that's why Kaiser is in my DMs. And I thought, I don't know. I mean, do I believe that? It doesn't matter, but she said it, you know. So, Tommy, you're first this time. Tommy, your thoughts on this segment?
Thank God you started with me, because holy shit. For the people saying that Tiffany got buried last week, what y'all gotta say now? What y'all gotta say now? Because holy crap. Tiffy took that and pulled a Seth Rollins back when him and Riddle were doing their thing. The good old, are we still on? Okay, since you want to talk about my family, let me talk about yours. Oh, wait, we can't because your wife left you and she don't want to see your bitch ass anymore. That is the feeling that I got from Tiffany tonight. Holy shit. She did not hold back. And I loved that with this. With the fact that it felt so real. It felt like Triple H was in the back and said, know what? Say whatever the hell y'all want. Go ahead. Put it out there. And I love the fact that overall, that divorce has been out for a bit. And we have been waiting and waiting for Tiffany to finally pull it out. And the fact that she did tonight, I'm like, yes! There it is! There's the thing that we've been waiting for a few weeks now. I am so happy with this promo battle. Holy shit. It was insane. Neither of them held back, and I loved it.
Yeah, you say that you have that, you got that feeling from Seth and Riddle, and that's a good comparison. I got the feeling like these two women really don't like each other, and that's what a promo is supposed to do. No matter what, no matter how bad it sounded or how awkward it was, or you know how much of a wreck it was, I genuinely believe these two don't like each other, and I want to see them fight. It's that fucking simple. You don't need to have all these scripted lines. Sometimes you just got to go out there and just tell it like it is. I thought that after Charlotte Flair going on this talk show and putting it all out on the line, telling the people the reality, how she really feels, what she was going through, I thought she was going to come back and get sympathy from the fans. But they're in Chicago. They're not the...
Chicago's brutal.
They're brutal, so they booed her even more. And I was like, what the fuck? But it also got me thinking, when Charlotte Flair was talking, she got the Dominic Mysterio treatment. They were booing her. They wouldn't let her talk. But then as soon as Tiffany Stratton would speak, the fans would just shut up. They let Tiffany Stratton speak. They cheered her when she was done making her points. And then Charlotte Flair would speak and she would get booed again. So Charlotte Flair, because of she just returned, she won the Rumble again. That put a lot of heat on her. And that's helping.
One of my favorite moments of this was Tiffany going, when you were 25, you were sitting in your dad's basement drinking. Meanwhile, me at 25, I'm going into WrestleMania as champion.
Even though Tiffany Stratton, technically, she was the one that was being the heel here. Charlotte Flair is the one that should be getting all the sympathy after that interview that she did. But the people are still cheering for Tiffany Stratton. That's how over Tiffany Stratton is right now, and it's fucking crazy. BT, do you have any thoughts on this? BT, I think you're frozen. Are you there? Damn, we were doing so good. Oh, let me see. Nope, he's gone.
Damn.
Yep, there he goes. Have fun editing all this, Nug.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna have you guys do it from now on.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no.
What the fuck is
There we go. Now we can hear you, B.
Yep. We good?
All right, go ahead.
All right. I personally did not like this promo segment. The whole thing was just cringe for me. I don't know why. I get they hate each other, but for me personally, it's just two privileged blonde bitches getting the shits at each other. That's basically all it is, in my opinion, and I just personally don't find any interest in it. So I don't give a fuck what happens. Give Charlotte the title. Let Tiffany keep it. I'm just through with it. I'm done.
All right, Toxic. No, wait,
Anyone
no, I'm
else
sorry.
that-
I'm sorry. No. It was actually Blood. My bad.
God fucking damn it.
Go ahead, Blood.
I didn't like this at all, actually. This is going to sound like a yap sesh, like I'm pissing and moaning. Everybody knows Charlotte's my all-time favorite women's professional wrestler, period. But I am really sick and tired of the Charlotte hate as if she books this shit herself. I'm tired of people hating on Charlotte. I'm tired of people shaming Charlotte for her face surgeries, her nose. Like she had a deviated septum. She had to have a nose surgery. But you don't see people throwing shade at Roman Reigns. He had a nose surgery too because he also had a deviated septum. He also had fucking veneers put in, so he has fake teeth. So for me, I find it funny that we'll let it pass on Roman, but everybody's got to rip Charlotte to shreds. And what I really, really fucking hate, I'm sick and tired of this, is that everybody is refusing to let Charlotte help build this story and this promo because they want to boost so loud she can't talk. So she has to give up mid promo. That's really getting aggravating for me because I want to hear what she has to say. But she has go away heat because they're mad that she won the Royal Rumble. Well, she didn't book herself to win the Royal Rumble. She returned because Becky probably would have won if Becky had actually come back. So they're mad that Charlotte won, all because AJ Lee didn't come back like they wanted, because Becky Lynch didn't come back like they wanted, because Bayley didn't get back-to-back Royal Rumble wins. You know, and it's like, dude, you guys act like she's the one in charge here. I also didn't like this because this entire promo exchange actually made me dislike Tiffany. Now, I have respected Tiffany Stratton's ability and athleticism, but I have never been a Tiffany Stratton fan. I think she had a meteoric rise that came out of nowhere. She was a cup of coffee on NXT, quickly brought to the main roster a lot faster than most of them. And then all of a sudden she's the next shiny blonde toy. And because we don't got enough of those on fucking the main roster, right? Because when I look at Tiffany Stratton, I don't see a wrestler of today's day. Tiffany Stratton's a wrestler that reminds me of the Divas era. Wildly talented, but everything about her character is preppy blonde heel or preppy blonde young talent that thinks she's better than everyone else. And when I look at her, I think the Divas Championship suits her better because it suits her character better. It suits her personality better. She reminds me of the old preppy blonde, bimbo acts with an attitude in the mouth from yesteryear in wrestling when Vince was still running it. That's what I think when I look at Tiffany. I did not like how personal this got. And I do like personal in my wrestling. I like a mixture of shoot and kayfabe. I do. My problem is that you could tell by the look on Charlotte's face that when they went off script, they went off script. Because it's the same look she had in her eye when her and Becky went off script. It's the same look she had in her eye when her and Nia went off script. Tiffany took some kind of offense from whatever their segment was last week and thought, I'm going to get my pound of flesh and I'm going to go where I probably shouldn't. If you see someone who's genuinely hurting from real personal struggles and battles earlier in the week, live on TV in front of the world, and you think, well, I don't know how to actually hang with her on the mic, because in reality, Tiffany wouldn't hang with Charlotte on the mic if the fans let Charlotte fucking talk. And Tiffany thought, well, since they're not giving her anything, I'm going to just take full stride, and kind of went into business for herself there on a bit of a heel-esque run there on that promo, out of character for what she's supposed to be right now, and decided instead of trying to build myself up, I'm just going to rip you down because I feel like I need to get my get back on you and get a receipt here. So she went after her failed marriage, which is still fresh, when she's still on the same roster with the man she just divorced. So that can't be easy. Mm-hmm. She went after her legacy about how, because Charlotte's always been open, she doesn't like being compared to her father. You went after that. She wouldn't even bring it up her dad. You brought it up. Like, there was nothing likable about Tiffany in this segment. People will sit there and say, oh, well, no, Tiffany, you're just mad because Tiffany was taking it to her. Tiffany wasn't taking anything to Charlotte Flair. The fans wouldn't let Charlotte Flair fucking respond. So how could she take it to her if Charlotte had no way to give anything back? She had no choice but to sit there and listen because the fans wouldn't fucking let her cut her promo. The same way they wouldn't let Dom cut his promos. Charlotte literally had to give up mid-promo and go, you know what? I'm going to let you take this.
Right.
Like, legitimately. I'm going to let you have the last word. And Tiffany, this made me not like Tiffany because Tiffany exposed herself here when they went off script. She exposed herself as desperate. She was desperate for the pop, desperate to keep the momentum on her side, so she did low blow after low blow after low blow to Charlotte. Charlotte gave her like one low blow, and it was a retort to all the low blows that Tiffany gave her. Because let's be honest, in the ring, Tiffany is only as good as Charlotte was in 2015, like mid-prime Charlotte. But if we're talking about who's the better wrestler, better performer, I'm sorry, I don't think Tiffany can go into Mania last year against Rhea and put on a 5-star fucking classic. Because in my opinion, Tiffany just ain't there yet. She should focus on her top. So when I sit there and hear her disrespecting Charlotte off script like that, we were talking the other week about how we thought it was BS that that one who's the one rapper that was going in on Bubba? What's his name from the Rock segment at Elimination Chamber? Travis Scott. And we sat there and said, you don't disrespect the greats, you don't disrespect the legends in this business. Here's Tiffany going into business for herself, off script, because this was definitely off script. There was no way that this was in script. And she legitimately decides, I'm going to attack you personally with nothing that had anything to do with building the match, by the way. Nothing she said was building their match. That's my problem. If you want to go personal, bring it to the match. Why are you attacking her marriage? Why are you attacking her opening about her mental health struggles? Oh, good on you. What a baby face. Like, dude, what are we doing here? Well, because in my opinion, Charlotte had to hold her composure because she's learned from past experience with her scrape up with Becky, with the title swap, with her scrape up with Nia, that, hey, I'm the one who always gets kicked out of the building. So I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to let you talk. Charlotte took the high road until she made that one dig about Ludwig. But she kind of earned that. She didn't deserve to say that dig after the shit Tiffany said. Because to me, this wasn't even building the match. Tiffany was out there just to embarrass Charlotte for the sake of embarrassing actual Charlotte Flair. Not trying to build the match and embarrass Charlotte Flair in character.
And well, let's be real, bud. Let's be real. What are the chances of them being like, you know what? Let's just go out there and let's just draw money. Everything's on the table. You can say whatever you want, and we'll just go out there and I can see that happening too, especially because Charlotte Flair is a pro. She's a pro. She's professional. She's a veteran. She looked kind of awkward out there. She looked kind of uncomfortable, but I can see Charlotte Flair, like, for the sake of the business, for the sake of, drawing her interest. It made me want to see the match more now.
But I think she sat there and let it happen because she realized it's still getting the heat that they need. But the look in her eye, I've been a fan of Charlotte since the moment she showed up on NXT versus Natalya.
She looked uncomfortable.
She didn't just look uncomfortable. She looked hurt.
Mm-hmm.
She looked hurt. That didn't feel, hey, before we go out there, hey, gloves are off. You can say whatever you want. That looked like someone who in real time was realizing that this girl was saying shit that they didn't agree to talk about out in this ring ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because Charlotte looked caught in the headlights at several different moments. Mm-hmm. And then she looked like she was trying not to cry when she was trying to respond, and the crowd was bullying her on top of Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
This literally looked like just we're watching Charlotte get bullied for real on live TV. Like, what does this do for the match? What does bringing up her divorce do for the match? What does bringing up her injuries do for the match? What does attacking her legacy do for the match? Why aren't you out there telling me why you're better than her in the ring? Tell me how many wins you've had as a champion. Tell me how just because she's beaten all these, just because you've beaten this person and this person, you've never beaten me. I beat Nia Jax, Why aren't you selling me on you for all the accolades you've done? Why are you just attacking her personally?
Personal issues.
Where is the match build? But you're not wanting me to make me see the match. You're just wanting to make people boo Charlotte Flair. But you're not proving to me that you're going to beat her in the ring. You're telling me that you can just beat her in a promo segment when the crowd helps you. But you're not showing me you can physically dominate her in the match because you're not telling me how great you are. You're telling me how bad she is.
I don't know, man. To me, this felt like a boxing promo or like a UFC promo.
It just really soured me on Tiffany because this felt legitimately off script. And Charlotte, just because of her past experience of getting in trouble and repairing her friendship with Becky and trying to relax over the last year with her comeback and all the stuff, she was just trying to go out there and legitimately was like, you know what? Every time that I respond, react, get angry, I'm the one who gets in trouble. I get kicked out of the buildings. I get in the fistfights backstage. Sonya Deville threatens to punch me in the face. Yada, yada, yada. All the things we've heard. And from experience and just maturing, she just goes, you know what? It's just say what I'm just going to let her talk.
Yeah.
I can't react out here. She legitimately looked like she was boxed in for real, not in story. I didn't like it at all.
Let's hear from Toxic.
At the end of the promo, we heard Charlotte say that Kaiser's in her DMs. Anyone else feel like that 2 or 3 weeks from now after Mania, we're going to get something from PW Insider saying, breaking news, Ludwig Kaiser is actually inside of Charlotte Flair's DMs? Anyone else feel like that?
That'd be interesting for like a story mode.
Yeah,
I would need
but
to
Well,
see that.
considering in kayfabe, they've never addressed Ludwig and Tiffany as an on-screen couple in kayfabe and story. That was off script because we only know about their relationship shoot, not in story, not on TV. So if that's a real thing, I won't be surprised if because it's Friday, so there won't be a news release tomorrow, probably maybe on What Culture. I won't be surprised if Monday we hear that there was an altercation backstage after this.
Go ahead,
but
Toxic.
I enjoyed this. Not the fact that Charlotte is being bullied, because to be honest, everyone was confused when she came back. Like, what the fuck was she? Is she a heel? Is she a face? What the fuck was she? And they just automatically threw, oh, you're a heel now. I just don't understand, and it's honestly not right, because everything that Mr. Blood said was true. Everything's true. She looks like she's about to cry. Not that it. She did. She actually did look like she was about to
No,
cry.
I know. That's why
She
I'm
looked
laughing.
uncomfortable, but I don't agree with the part that Tiffany said stuff that they didn't agree to talk about. I thought Charlotte agreed, but didn't know it was going to hit that damn hard.
Yeah. She probably like realized when she got there, like, oh fuck, what did I do?
Yeah.
But look, man, I feel for Charlotte, but there's a lot of wrestling fans, a lot of smart wrestling fans that fucking hate her. They don't care for her. They don't care for Charlotte. But I feel like this can be like another topic for another day. We can do like a whole ass episode comparing Tiffany Stratton with Charlotte Flair. I think there's a lot to be said
I
here.
mean, haven't we wanted her to bring up Andrade for a bit?
I mean,
Not
they
me.
never
There was
did
never a
anything.
need to.
They never did anything on screen. I mean, they don't they don't have to bring up like all these wrestlers are always dating each other. They all date each other, but that doesn't mean they have to go on TV with it all the fucking time. You know?
I just didn't like certain things about it. I really didn't. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but bringing up 0 and 3 in relationships isn't cool. When the man that Charlotte was married to prior to Andrade was abusive, physically abusive to her, and that's why they got divorced. So I don't think stuff like that should be fair game in a promo for a TV show. That's all I'm saying. That shit's like, to me, that's, you're not selling me on anything. You're just attacking someone personally. And how are we winning here?
Well, in
You know?
2025, yeah, in this, it's different times, but we're also talking about, the same TV show that fucking Randy Orton said Eddie Guerrero's not looking down at us. He's looking up at us because he's in hell.
Yeah, but he also said after that it made him sick to his stomach, and he begged Vince to change it so he wouldn't have to say it.
And you could visually see how
We're talking about the same time when Charlotte was literally on the opposite side of a feud with Paige, and
yes,
they forced Paige at the threat of getting sent home that you will say to Charlotte that her little baby brother didn't have much fight left in him after he died from an overdose, and they didn't even have the decency to call and ask permission from Ric Flair and his wife that it'd be okay to say that line live on TV. Like
Speaking
they've gone too far before. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of Paige, I'm willing to bet y'all fools are the same fools that popped big when Jimmy and Jay Uso did that. Don't get rated R like your boy Xavier Woods. I bet you guys thought that was cool. I bet you guys thought that was real cool.
I really didn't
Ah,
because
I thought that was
I
cool.
didn't. And I'll tell you why I didn't. Because we were finding out at that same time that Paige was was becoming bulimic from the public scrutiny and stuff. She almost killed herself. So I didn't think it was funny when they brought that up because it was literally actually destroying her life. I didn't find that shit funny because she legitimately almost took her own life because of that shit going public.
well,
I didn't think it was funny at all. Sometimes wrestling gets too personal for a pop, and a cheap pop isn't worth tormenting somebody.
Yeah.
in real life. Sorry.
BT,
Just
did you
my
have
real
something to
personal
add?
feelings.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say when Mr. Blood was bringing up the Randy stuff, you could see how uncomfortable he was before he said the words "in hell." You could see him trying to get his composure together and try to get through it because he looked uncomfortable when he said that. And the Paige and Charlotte stuff, I remember watching that for the first time when I was like first watching WWE. And when Paige had said that her brother didn't have enough fight left in him to survive, the fucking nerves that went crazy in my body when I heard that shit. I couldn't believe. I'm like, is that how desperate wrestlers are? They really go that far? Because I didn't know anything about like how Vince ran WWE and things like that. I was still very new to it.
Yeah,
So I'm
they
like,
pushed her to it. She literally said she felt like she was going to throw up after they went backstage. She felt that
yeah,
bad about it. She
yeah,
wanted to throw up. She felt sick
that
to her
is
stomach.
that is
Because this
so
isn't like
sad.
characters. These are characters on the TV show, but they're real people playing alternate versions of themselves. It's not like you watch a show on Netflix where this is a written drama with actual actors playing completely different people